So the second part of the presentations by students on Arvind Adiga's novel, The White Tiger. Yesterday we had a very interesting presentation on various aspects of the White Tiger. And today the group of students is going to make presentation on the movie adaptation, the comparison of movie adaptation and this novel. And then there is an activity about research, that what are the qualitative research work you are able to find. So that will be presented. And finally, learning outcome from this text that will be presented today. Okay? So we request the members, let me, as this also is a hybrid class, so let us have a focus on the students who are present in the class also. And there are 15 students are online and few students are here in the class. This is, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yes. Yeah, okay. So these are the students present in the class, and we will see your presentation on the screen here or through projector. So now you can start your presentation.
Okay, sir. Am I audible properly?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Very good afternoon, all of you. In the second part of our presentation, we are going to discuss about the movie adaptation of The White Tiger, learning outcome, how literature shaped me, and last, search for qualitative articles or resources. Okay, so first, if we talking about movie adaptation of The White Tiger, then it is quite worth watching, worth observing, and worth critic, as we all know that director always put audience at the center. So he might be changed some of the scenes and dialogue in the movie. Now, let us see the movie adaptation of The White Tiger. Uh, the movie The White Tiger is an adaptation of Arvind Adiga's 2008 novel of the same name. Uh, Adiga dedicated The White Tiger to his close friend Ramin Behrani, whom he met while attending Columbia University. According to both Ramin and Arvind Adiga, the two have been talking about The White Tiger for nearly 3 decades. In fact, Ramin had the opportunity to read several early drafts of the book well before it was ever published. Likewise, when Ramin was bringing the novel to big screen, Arvind Ediga was there to provide feedback for him as well. As per the production notes, Arvind Ediga said that not many dreams in life come true, but this one has. 12 years later, my novel has become a film, and Ramin Behrani is the director. Witty, provocating, and moving the film he has made not only brings my book to life but transcend it. And finally, the movie was released on 22nd January 2021, directed by Ramin Behrani and edited by Tim Strito and Ramin Behrani. The White Tiger premiered at Las Vegas on 6 January 2021 and was screened at limited movie theaters in United States on 13 January 2021. It was released globally throughout the world on 22nd January 2001. The movie centered on Balram Halwai, Adarsh Gaurav. It follows a poor boy in a village in Bihar who travels to Dhanbad and ends up in Delhi, Bangalore, becoming a shining model of new capitalist India, an entrepreneur. If we talk about the movie, The White Tiger, then it is half faithful and honest to the book, except few things which are majorly lacking in the movie. Now let us see beginning of the movie and the book. The movie begins with the scene of the statue of Gandhi and his followers at the night in Delhi when Balram is in Maharaja's costume. He sat back in the car and drunken Pinky Madam drives the car, which leads to her striking and killing a small child. Here, Ramin Behrani shows Balram Halwai, who sits in the back of the car, who signs the future of Balram Halwai as a master. We can assume the future of Balram Halwai as a master. This is the beginning of the movie. Now, let us see the beginning of the book. While the book begins with the letter of Balram Halwai to Venjiabao, who is going to visit the India next week to know the truth of Bangalore and wants to hear the success story of Indian entrepreneurs from their own lips. Now the question is why Ramin Behrani has made some changes in the beginning scene of the movie. Ramin Behrani explained in one of his interviews that why he had made some changes in the film, especially in the beginning scenes. He said that in the opening scene of The White Tiger, viewers are instantly thrown into the chaos of Balram, Ashok and Pinky's car crash. But in the story, this event doesn't happen until much later on. What is more, I made decision to withhold certain key details about Balram that are given right away in the beginning of the novel until later on in the film. The first draft was ever closer to the novel, where the character announces his definitive action, which I don't want to give away as a spoiler. But the main thing he does is tough decision. He announces in the novel at the beginning of the book. Now, if we talk about some major changes in the movie and the book, then it is quite worth observing. The first major changes in the movie is poetic lines. You were looking for the key for years, but the door was always open. These poetic lines bring major changes in both the movie and in the book. In movie, Pinky Madam, who speaks this line when she goes to America, and in the books, bookseller who speaks this line when Balram Halwai visits the bookstores, and it changes entire life of Balram Halwai from yokel to rich and successful entrepreneur. The second major change is the movie uses emails as a narration throughout, although it does not split that narration up into 8 parts like the book does. Whereas the book does not date it events. The film opens in Delhi 2007. Third major changes is in the book, Balram's parent didn't even bother to name him at first, so his name became Munna until a teacher gave him a name Balram. These details are omitted in the movie. Fourth major changes is in the book, Balram goes around to various houses and begs for a driving job until he just happened to stumble upon the residence of the stork. In the movie, Balram only pursues driving Ashok's lesson after hearing about return off to India and deliberately seeks out the landlord's residence. Fifth different is the scenes of accidents by Pinky Madam. The movie makes the child's death explicit, but in the book, it is never actually established whether a child was killed, though a piece of green cloth found stuck in the car's exterior implies that this is the case. Now let us come to the main point. What the movie is lacking? Yes, obviously, book provide us deep thinking and deep satirical tone. When we read the White Tiger book, we feel that we are really visiting the dark side of India. Arvind Rediga put each and every description very minutely, very majorly, which we cannot find out in the movie. A movie goes quite quickly, so it lacks deep satirical tone and dialogues. Like in the book, Balram Halwai satire on the river Ganga. We, the Indians, are feel proud on the river Ganga as the holiest river. But Balram Halwai, when he has gone for funeral rite of her mother at the bank of the river Ganga, he observed the situation and satire that I haven't been back to see the Ganga since then. I leaving that rivers for the American tourist. This deep and satirical scene is not mentioned in the movie. The second thing is about Lord Buddha. We all know that Lord Buddha is known for spreading enlightenment everywhere, and Lakshmangarh is in the district of Gaya, the district of Lord Buddha. Balram Halwai says everything about the dark side of Lakshmangarh and makes fun of it and says that I wonder if the Buddha walked through Lakshmangarh. Some people say he did. My own feeling is that he ran through it as fast as he could and got the other side and never looked back. This type of deep and satirical dialogue majorly missing the movie. There are some other changes uh, Blackford, Lizard, Balram's childhood hero, Vijay, and slum area of Delhi. Description of golden hair of foreign women. These are the scenes which are not shown in the movie. So now, further discussion on movie review, I would like to call Nishtha.
Okay, thank you, Nirali. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so I would like to start with two lines from this movie. गंदा पर धंधा ये वातावरण बॉलीवुड जैसा बाहर से चमकी है अंदर से खंडरपुर जैसा. So in the examination hall, when the entire question is remaining and we have just 5 to 10 minutes left to write it, so at that time we write that question in a speed of bullet train. I felt the same when I was watching the movie after reading the novel, because after reading the novel was very fresh in my mind, and when I started to watch movie, so I felt that everything is running so fast. And as the Jessica wrote, and a cinema blogger has also mentioned that it is nearly impossible to accomplish convert a novel into a movie. It is nearly impossible with its heart and its soul, but this director has done a very tremendous work. He tried to convert very faithfully to the movie. And Arvind Adiga also says in one article about Radio Times that he really likes this movie. Next, okay, so it is the second most watched film on Netflix this weekend, and Priyanka Chopra, she also plays a role as a Pinky's role, and she is also the producer of the movie. And she shares this that it is now in the list of top 10 movies on the Netflix, and it is the second most watched film on Netflix this weekend in the UK, and the third in the US according to the streaming platform of one daily chart. Next, Asha.
disconnected. Let me try it again.
So the director and the other cast and other film actor and actress tried their best, but somehow this movie is lacking something, and at some point it is also failing to convey some messages. So not totally failure, but at some point it is failing, at a narrative technique. In the novel, the narrative technique in the novel and the movie, the narrative technique is same, and the director Ramin is also says that it is a film with voiceover from top to the bottom. There is voiceover. So because of this voiceover, we feel that it is a dictation rather than a movie, and it also seems that the narrator looks very unreliable because of this voiceover. Because only there is only Balram who is narrate his own story and going to speak everything, and we also feels while watching movie. In novel it is okay, but in the movie we feels that there is Balram is constantly speaking and speaking. So according to some critics, and as well as according to some group members of mine, it is uh, narr- there is a voiceover of the narrator. Next, we can continue. Uh, in the novel, we can find so many references of women, but in the movie, except the role of Pinky, the character of Pinky and Kusum, we find that the portrayal of women as just a sexual object. Wherever there is a reference of women, there it is about only a sexual object, and there is a comedy is also about on this. So next, use of language in the movie. So the director has used two language, Hindi plus English. So in the village people speak Hindi, whereas in Delhi and everyone speaks English. So it is like in this movie it is like Hindi is a language of poor people and English is a language of rich people. Or other reason can be that perhaps the director wanted to be faithful with the dialogues of the novel, so he pick up the dialogue as in the novel. But it is also shows that Hindi is a language of poor people, and there is one dialogue in the novel. Balram speaks the autobiography of a half-baked Indian. That is what I ought to call my life story, and me and my thousands of others in this country are half-baked because we were never allowed to complete our schooling. So this is also stereotype in a metro city. Like if you don't know the English, then you are not properly educated. And in the movie, everywhere we find that whenever drivers are speaking together to each other, and whenever Balram speaks with his family, so then he speaks in Hindi. When the landlords talks, they are speaks, so they will speak in English. Okay, so the portrayal of Pinky. So in the novel, there is a Pinky's role is different in the movie. Priyanka Chopra in her interview says that she is says about the character of Pinky. She's been developed tremendously in the movie compared to the book. So Pinky has a more prominent role in the movie, and to make her more realistic and empathetic person, and she encourages Balram to think about his own life. So she has become the role model, or we can say mentor for Balram. So she says, what do you want to do to Balram? But Balram says that I just want to serve you and Ashok sir. This is my destiny. So at that time she encourages him that do whatever you want to do, this is not your life. So here the character in the novel we can't find anything like this. So there is a two possible reason that a director have wanted to make the role of Pinky, the character of Pinky, more realistic and empathetic person, and the other reason can be that the role of Pinky is played by Priyanka Chopra, who is a global actress. So that can be the reason that Pinky has given more importance to this movie. Next. The cinematography is done by Paolo Carnera, who is an Italian filmmaker, and in the artistic and cinematography, this movie, they have done very good work. So here are frame like the frame of crow. So in the novel we can also find this symbol that crow is a symbol of the bad luck. That if a crow comes to your door or to your window, so it means that something is going to bad. And when the crow came, Ashok and the Balram fight together. There is also one frame that Pinky and Balram sat at the same place. So in the India, women and the servant are treated like a same. They have the same position. This is we cannot find in novel. And also the portrayal of the village, it is more realistic. Next. The frame of this clocks, which shows that we can find this frame. No, we can find in anywhere. So this clocks, the frame shows the globalization, that there is a time of Bangalore, time of London, time of New York. So we think that what is the need of? We just want the time of Delhi or the time of Bangalore, but there is a so the Balram is a very globalized entrepreneur. And next. So what American alligator symbolize here? So in the novel, there is no reference of this American alligator, but in the movie and the very starting of the movie, we can find this symbol. In the novel, he is afraid from lizard, but there is no reference of a lizard, as Nirali has also mentioned. So what this symbol, what it symbolizes? So it is a spirit animal and reminds us to look for new opportunity, new knowledge and wisdom. It is American alligator and can see well at night and can hold their breath to catch prey and trust your inner sight and perception. The whole things, the description about this alligator, we can find in Balra. So the director shows us that in the whole movie you are going to find all these things in Balram. Like Balram is a very good observer. While working, he always looks on what people are talking about, and he get education also like this. And this American alligator can see well at night and can hold their breath. So Balram is also killing killing her. He's killing his master at night, and he's doing very well. And yes, trust. At the last, he trusts his inner sight and perception. Next. Okay, so in the novel there are so many references of Gandhi, but in the movie you can find 2 or 3 times this statue. As it says that a picture speaks 1,000 words. So there are nothing any dialogue, but just a picture of Gandhi. But where? So when Pinky has killed one child, hit one child while driving. So at that time there is this scene of Gandhi, and when this Ashok and his brother going to give rupees to the politicians, like they bribe given to politicians. So at that time this scene has come. So it is like that how far Gandhi's ideas are relevant in independence India, and Gandhi is a dream of past India. So there is so many things happening wrong, and here are the portrayal of Gandhi. But there is also one questions that when Balram is doing a wrong thing, he is a bit he's cheating his master, and when he killed his master, then there is no reference of Gandhi. So that is also one question. Next, okay, his friends are very much interesting. So everywhere you can find Balram in some kind of cages, not originally cages, but at the first frame, he himself make him in a cage. That imagine yourself in a cage, and in others friends we can see him as in a cage. But when he sees the white tiger in the cage, then he feels that I can't live the rest of my life in a cage. So that is the thing that he thinks to come out from these cages. Next. Okay, so the end of the movie is very much different from the novel, and it is very mysterious because Mr. Van Giago came to India to meet the Prime Minister, and Balram also meet him. In the novel, there is no reference that Mr. Van Giago is coming or not. He writes letter to him. Whether he sends him or not, that is we don't know. But in this movie, when Giago came, now here is one question that when Giago has read his emails or not, that is also not that is also mysterious. And yes, the end is much little more dull than the novel, because everything is running so fast at the end, and it fails to convey the right message, because at the end he says that his servants to his servants, his employers, that if a poor man killed a rich man in a particular Hindi Bollywood movie, if a poor man killed a rich man, so at the night he will have a nightmare of that dead man. He will feel scaring. But in real life, nothing has happened. You can kill anyone, and in India, nobody is going to catch you. So the end, this even provoke people to do murder. So I think the end is very much different from the novel. Next. Okay, so in conclusion, we can say that it is possible to work into one film, or will it be a series, or it be a web series also. So background music, cinematography, everything is good, and the director has tries to take each and every major parts into his movie. In dialogues and script, it is faithful to the novel, but at as a movie it fails to justify the novel very deeply. It is very good movie, no doubt, but don't watch this movie before reading the novel. So thank you, and for next I would like to call Nirali. Okay, this is work citation for a learning outcome. I would like to call Nirali.
Okay, thank you, Nishtha. Let's come on the point of what I have learned from the text. Before the discussion on what I have learned from the text or how text shaped me, here I would like to put one quote by Vikram Halwai, the father of Balram Halwai. He said that my whole life I have been treated like a donkey. All I want is that one son of mine, at least one, should live like a man. Yes, obviously, I am talking about honesty and innocence in Indian villagers or Indian people. Honesty and innocence are like the hairs of thorn in India. If you want to get success in life, then we must have to come out the haze of thorn. Here I would like to put the metaphor of haze of thorn for honesty and innocence. If you work honestly, then what Vikram Halwai said that you will be treated like a donkey. We must have to put one step forward and must have to think about our own self. Otherwise, what Balram Halwai says that eat or get eaten up. Uh, in the text, Balram Halwai gave example of how Indian people or workers do their work honestly. Balram Halwai says that master trust their servants with diamonds in this country. It's true. Every evening on the train out of Surat, where they run the world's biggest diamond cutting and polishing business, the servant of diamond merchants are carrying suitcase full of cut of diamonds that they have to given to someone in Mumbai. Why doesn't that servant take the suitcase full of diamonds? He is not Gandhi. He is a human. He is you and me. But he is the rooster cook. The trustworthiness of servants is the basis of the entire Indian economy. That's because we have the cook. This is what I have learned from the text. Think about your own self and become the out of haze of thorn. Honesty and innocence are the haze of thorn in India. For next learning outcome, I would like to call Rita.
Okay. Okay. So what I learned from the text, the first things is a struggle makes you hero. Here I found that the novel tells how one poor Indian man struggled to come out uh, from darkness with its poverty and experience of life to reach into life. And also struggle and hard work provide great opportunities to live life successfully. And another thing is observe the world. And here we can find that in the novel Arvind Adiga shows the huge gap between the wealthy and poor India. And this large gap create instability that often leads to morality being compromised for individual gain. And another thing is sociopolitics, how sociopolitics played a vital role in a human life. So this is how uh, okay. So these things I learned from the text, and now I would like to call Komal for further information.
Thank you, Rita. So, what I have learned from this text is make your listening skill powerful. Do original listening. Your powerful listening can make you great or rich or whatever you want to be in your life. If we do the original listening, then we don't need to go anywhere to learn such a things as Balram Halwai did in as Balram Halwai suggests that. Uh, I am not an original thinker, but I am an original listener. As we know, there are four skills: listening skill, writing skill, reading skill, and speaking skill. So, if we give our full focus to do original listening, then we can learn all the skill at once. Try to come out from your comfort zone. That is very much important. Yes, that uh, in our life, to get success, one must have to come out from their comfort zone. Go away from your family or anyone whom your your attachment is more. Don't mix too much attachment with anybody. Travels a lot, meet a lot people, but don't make any more attachment with anybody. That uh, Balram Halwai's character says. uh, that will make a big change in your life. Be with you, but be with you. So that is also very much important thing that I learned from this text. Whenever we listen that we are alone, we try to find someone who can give us a comfort zone. So, but who wants to live alone? આપણે તો એવું સાંભળ્યું છે કે જ્યારે આમ એકલા હોઈએ ને તો ડિપ્રેશનમાં આવી જઈએ એમ but the character of Balram Halwai teach us that loneliness also makes you uh, successful in your life. Some that this dialogue is very famous, that in any jungle, what is the rarest of animals? The creature that comes alone only once in generation, the white tiger. That's why you are in this jungle. That is Balram's teacher, Mr. Krishna, says to Balram that be the one who is different from the crowd. Don't go with everybody, those who are doing is the same thing, but be uh, be one that is different from the crowd. So pay your full attention to what you want. Give your full attention to your plan or to your goal, what you want to do in your life. So that's all from my side. Now I would like to call Nishtha.
Thank you, Komal. ये जंगल है, जंगल का मंत्र है, करना या मरना है हाँ या ना. So this novel is like a medicine to me, the medicine which has its own side effects as well as benefits. So my childhood was surrounded by so many moral stories and values, grown up with reading Panchatantra, watching Ramayana, Vikram Vetal, and every moral stories, and always taught to be honest and to do good works, and so far away from the harsh reality of the real world. When I was reading this novel, then I found this one dialogue, eat or get eaten up. That is the half truth actually. So I found that if you are not going to speak, then other people are going to beat you. So after reading this novel, I found that the real world is far away from this reality, from this moral world. Next, so in this world, in this jungle, you have to be a white tiger to survive in this jungle. Not in the sense that you are going to kill anybody for your a good life, but in the other sense that you have to be a white tiger, you have to be fight. So some of the key points that I have taken from this novel is don't be sentimental, don't be so sweet, don't be so wise, and break the chain of your own limitations. We all have made limitations around us, which is made by our own. So break this chain of your own limitation, be ambitious, and be a good observer. And the other dialogue is that I was looking for the key for years, but the door was always open. As like I was also looking for the keys, and the door was always open. And the novel has also a negative impact on me, that a white tiger keeps no friends, it is too dangerous, honesty will kill you, be selfish, अपना काम बनता भाड़ में जाए जनता, power and money are everything and જેવા સાથે તેવા. And the novel has raised so many questions in my mind, that what to do and what not to do. If we are honest, then we are beaten by other people. So and yes, in the novel I found that the Gandhi is satired by the Arvind Adiga. that in this world there is no need of honesty, there is no need of non-violence. So that is also a negative impact. And the last question is that to be honest or not, that is the question in the nowadays. So thank you. Now I would like to call Asha.
Okay, thank you. So, am I audible properly?
Yes, Asha.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, as we all know that literature is not only for the aesthetic delight or for enjoyment, but it also gives kinds of life lessons and messages which we can use in our life to make our life more better. So, the first and yes, one of the thing which is revolving around this particular novel, The White Tiger, is that it is giving a kind of it is also giving some kind of a negative messages. For that, what I think is that if we are mature enough to understand this particular novel, then we are also mature enough to get what messages which we want to take out from this novel or which are not. So the first thing which I learned from this particular novel is that doubting is better than believing everything. Sir also always used to say that cross check everything before you get certainty over that. So this is what we also learn from the Balram Halwai, that in the very beginning of the novel, he writing a letter to the Chinese premier Wen Jiabao, where he said that I want to ask you directly if you really are coming to Bangalore or not. So in the very beginning, he is doubting on the premier Wen Jiabao that whether they are really coming to visit India or not. So and throughout the novel, we see that at every point he is doubting on himself as well as on others. So this is the thing which we can learn from that doubt everything whichever you watch, listen or cross. And yes, of course doubting is a kind of uncomfortable condition, but it is better than certainty. So this is a habit which we should maintain, or which we need to develop ourselves, is that doubting. This is what I first lesson which I learned from the author. Then the second is create your own opportunities. So if we see the character of Balram, then he creates his own opportunities, and he creates his own path and his own life. He is coming from a poor background, but still he make a successful entrepreneur. So this is what we can learn from him. And he says that if the driver sees his free time as an opportunity, if he uses it to think, then the worst part of the job becomes the best. So even in the job of driving, he sees opportunities to think about himself and think about everything from which he is surrounding, and also he uses this time to observe the thing which teach him some kinds of lessons. So some of the lessons: out of your comfort zone, develop flexibility and adaptability. So if we see the character of Balram, then he fix his at any position. Like he is living in a room where he is surrounded by mosquitoes and everything. Still he become adaptable to that situation also. Follow your passion, and life and time is limited. So do whatever you want to do, but along with that, take the responsibility, which we can also learn from the Balram Halwai. Yes, a major question. Now everyone is saying whether to be honest or not. So what I think is that let the situation determine to be remain honest or not. So where Balram Halwai, that at some point of time he is becoming honest, and at some point of time he is becoming dishonest, and he know very well at what point of time he need to be honest, and at what point of time he need to be dishonest. So first thing, when we see the accident which is done by his taxi after becoming the entrepreneur, so he go and
place and take blame on himself, like that this is this thing is done by me because I asked the driver to go fast. So here he is becoming honest. So this thing we can learn from the Balram Halwai, that it is depends on the situation whether to be remain honest or not. So there is one quotation like, I did my job with near total dishonesty, lack of dedication, and insincerity. And so the tea shop was profoundly enriching experience. So at the very beginning, we say that he working in a tea shop in childhood. So he himself accept that thing that I am a little bit dishonest in my job because I am observing the things and observing the people who are coming at that place. So, but of course, this dishonesty leads him to be an entrepreneur. So this is justifiable. So, and the philosophy which he said in one dialogue, that let animal live like an animal, let humans live like a human. So these are some of the things which I have from the White Tiger. Now I would like to request Ravina.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes,
Ravina, you are
Ravina.
audible.
Yes.
So, what I have learned from this text, that minutely observe the things. As we know that we all are observer, but how we use our observation for our day-to-day life. So that is the important thing, that how we use our observation in our life. And also one of the point is that do original listening. As Balram Halwai says that I was not original thinker, but I was original listener. So the listening skill is very much very important for us, that how we get the things from the crowd. And also one of the famous quotation, that the white tiger keeps no friend, it's too dangerous. So this is it. And also no one help us except from ourselves. So we don't have to find help from others, but we have to work on our power and on our thinking. And also defies your dreams or our time, our important time for others, because of our family members and others. So we first we have to work for ourselves, then we have to decide for others. And what is stuck with me, that we, before reading the novel, what I was thinking about the criminals. And after the reading of the book, that do we blame a criminal for his decision, or do we try to understand those decisions or as reaction to an overly oppressive and restrictive society? So that is the question for me, that how we looked on criminals. Then so this is it from my side. Further, I would like to call Asha.
Okay. So these are some of the glimpses of our group task, and now come back to the next part, which is search for qualitative resources. So in this part, what we have to do is we have to find the articles or a kind of a material which will be useful to read the novel. What we have done in this particular part is that first gone through some of the articles, and then we from that articles we have 10 articles which are the best. So first let's see the articles through which we have gone through. So here is the list. We have gone through almost around 70 articles that we find from academia. These are some of the articles which we find through academia, and on ResearchGate, then academia again, then ResearchGate, And every article is linked here. So if anyone want to go through that, they can click here and they will directed through that particular article. Then we have also taken some of the articles from publisher, then bibliomed, then semantic scholar and store, then project, and then national digital library. From there also we have some articles. Then WorldCat and Google Scholar. So these are some of the websites from which we have gone through the articles. These articles are published in some of the national or some of the international journals. So here are total 76 articles through which we have gone through, and now see 10 articles which will be helpful to give a kind of a new insight the novel from different perspective. So here are this selected articles. First one is about contents of Indian individualism in Arvind Adiga's The White Tiger, which is by Sopan Go, and this is published in the journal Emerging Technology and Innovative Research. So what we find in this particular article is that Indian individualism, that how individualism, in this particular article, the writer tried to see that individualism through the point of democracy, that how democracy give to be free, and then other thing which writer in this article tried to see that how a socio-economic reality are force most of the people not to be free or not to be make their individual choice. So these two things which the writer tried to discuss in this article with reference of the white tiger. Now the second article is about tigers of an jungle, Adiga's tryst with subaltern politics. This particular article focuses on two opposite trends of critics which are around Arvind Adiga's novel, The White Tiger. First one is that novel fits into the West Orientalist fantasy of India as an underdeveloped and impoverished third world post-colony. And the second critics which are going around the novel is that there are those who propose Adiga's novel works to rupture the myth of New India. So 2 point of view which are critic making around the white novel is discussed in this particular article, and part of the article discuss about that despite this the particular text, the white tiger, dichotomous and Fram analyze text in terms of pages. That this particular article at the end tried to see that the text itself is full in pages, and the argument here is given by the writer is about for whom is Arvind Adiga right or whom does he seek to please is not the at all here. So this is about the second article. The third article, this is very interesting one, that here try to see the white tiger through the lenses of queer studies and transgender. The article argues that within the novel, the inherent master and slave relationship between Balaram and Ashok places the two men in homosocial species that are explore same-sex desire. At the same time, Adiga also bars pursuit of any such exploration through the disapproval of other characters and strategic placement. Now the fourth one is an application of strain theory on this particular. This is also very interesting one. Like the strain theory was developed by Robert K. Metron in the field of sociology and criminology. Know that there are so many interdisciplinary studies is going. So this particular article tried to take the strength from the sociology and try to apply this theory on the white tiger. Strength theory is all about deals with the individual who crime for his own societal pressure on him to achieve a high of life. So here we can see the very protagonist of the novel, but who commit a crime in order to pursue the high standard. Okay, fifth one is about the can subaltern right wrongs, human rights and development in the Adigas, the white tiger. So this article is the first part of the essay is examine that the logic leads the protagonist Balram Halwai, a poor subaltern, to identify the problem of growing richer and the expenses of the poor as the most energized wrong. And right this wrong by killing and stealing from his boss, Mr. Ashok. We see the character of Balram, who tried to make the wrong right by doing the wrong. So in this way, this article tried to argue, and here we see that the reference of Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak book, Writing Wrong, is here as a reference. Now the sixth one is a Foucauldian interpretation of power, knowledge and institution in the Arvind Adiga's novel. This studies the White Tiger by Arvind Adiga through the lenses of Foucauldian power, knowledge and status and institutions, and you can see the Foucauldian theory in two terms, like first how power to oppress the people, and the second thing that how people are resisting that particular power. Now seventh one is does social literature and introspective analysis of Arvind novel The White Tiger. So this article focuses on metaphor, symbols, imagery and the white tiger. Arvind Adiga also reveals how the marginalized were ignored by education, religion, culture, race, and the gradual shift of the protagonist as an entrepreneur. So these things discussed in this particular article. And the ninth one is that metamorphosis Arvind Adiga's novel. So this article tried to see how the identity of the Balram, who begins from initially he is known as Munna, then he become a Balram, and how his names are changing time and again. So the article focuses on how novel brings out the transformation of the protagonist Balram Halwai from sweet maker to tea shop worker, car murderer, and at the end a successful entrepreneur. The 10th one is about mimicry and the quest. So the term mimicry, this particular discuss that getting the independence doesn't mean free. Impact of colonizers still remain on the mind of colonizers, colonized people, and they are battling to cope up with this unconscious entity. So mimicry is one idea which denotes that the colonized are mimicking their masters in an unknown manner. So this type of through the example of characters in the novel will show that how the colonized nation continue to imitate other even after the colonial rulers, and how through this imitation they constantly recreate their identity and seek to find their own establishment. Now 11th one is a neoliberal world of globalized existential struggle in the White Tiger. So this paper analyzes Adiga's novel The White Tiger to highlight the effects of globalization in a neoliberal country like India. It shows how the gap between the rich widens with the free market policies, consequently making rich people more and making the poor people more poor. And here are the two interviews through which we have gone through. And the first one is for Life 2014 interview, which is taken by David Godwin. And Adiga in this particular talk about the city of his childhood, the good memories of the journey from Mangalore to Chennai, and also about the White Tiger book, and also about his upcoming book or what are the subjects of that particular book. And last, this interview is a little bit small, around of 3 minutes, but interesting one. So this interview is about Adiga writes the White Tiger, which are the difficulties he faced, and he to talk about that how it is somewhat to write this kind of a novel. He also emphasized that journalist, he is able to meet various kinds of people, travel geography sort of culturally and socially, and because of that, he is able to write this particular novel, The White Tiger. So this is an article, and hello, I got disconnected. I don't know when I got disconnected. Hello.
You are audible, Asha.
Yes,
Okay.
Asha.
Sorry, I got disconnected in between.
And it is done, everybody? Completed or any?
Yes, sir.
Anything?
Everything is done.
Yes, sir.
Done, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Good. It was excellent. All the things that you have worked out is very well worked out things. So a very good review of the film. Also, you presented comparison, and it seems that you have minutely read the novel also. So you were able to identify what is in the film and what is in the novel. And very rightly said, those who study first the literary text thoroughly, normally they remain dissatisfied with cinema. It is always difficult to get satisfied with the film if we are once satisfied with the novel. Very rarely it happens that the book that satisfies us, if that book is converted into a cinema, the cinema also can have the same amount of satisfaction. So you have identified good points in that also. A good point about tone of film and tone of novel also you tried to discuss there. And you can see that something very important part here is that the tone of a film is very grave and gloomy, whereas Adiga's tone is very humorous. Very humorously he tries to present the things, but the film has more of a gloominess in it. Your point of voiceover also was very good. Voiceover, so the voiceover, it is fast paced, it becomes like documentary, a kind of a documentary things. Language also is well observed. Hindi and English language, that how and at which place the languages are shifting from one to the another one. Yes, the character of Pinky is more developed in this film. I think she is also the producer of the film. Yes, she is the producer also. So obviously, producers have their own say also in the film. So that also is a part of the investment of money that it tries to see, and then they try to make several changes. Those who have not watched the film, for them, the character of Pinky is quite good. Like Adiga might have done the same thing in the novel also. Some more space might have been given to that. But in the overall world which Adiga is presenting, there in that world, women do not have a space. That India is a highly patriarchal India, where that space, even if the woman is highly educated, coming from America, living in America, or like America represents liberalism and a rational life, and we can say intellectual life. So in that case also, she do not have any say in a rather patriarchal rural structures of India. Lizard and American alligator example also was good. Gandhi statue, obviously there are lots of reference in the novel. That also was well studied. So it was good points of comparison that you presented. And then learning outcome also was very interesting. All of you, this was what we expected, that from everything you can try to bring this idea that how individually you feel. So those who are still remaining to present in other groups, or when you write down at the end in your digital portfolio, at that time also this, that not what literature is generally doing, not generally is fine, you can connect that also, but at your individual level, what is the effect of literature in your life? That is what we want to see. So when you write a page for your digital portfolio, at that time also keep this in mind, that individually how do you look at these things. So all of you did well in looking at this. Generally, if we see, we find that, well, the lesson which this novel is teaching is obviously the lesson which is not to be learned. So the lesson literature tells us that what is to be learned and what is not to be learned. And it also awakens us that if this is how the entrepreneurs, the rich people are becoming rich, then we are already in the jungle. Then we are already, all successful people, they spill a little bit of blood here and there, sometimes metaphorically, sometimes literally also. So all success stories sometimes become that how the blood has been spilled over by, or the murders might have happened. And that's why it becomes a very interesting, true story of India also, very true story of India. And you can just keep in mind who are the successful people, politicians to the business leaders. And at many places you may see the mirror image of Balram Halwai. Mirror image of Balram Halwai will obviously be reflected in many of the successful people. Adiga perhaps want to say that we are not supposed to take these people as role models. We are not supposed to take their success stories as success stories. We are not supposed to walk on that path. Otherwise, we will turn a society into a jungle, and where everybody will be very eager to become tiger only. Nobody wants to become a human being, but they all want to become tiger. That is the ironical message which Adiga wants to give. There is ironical way. So what he is telling is not to be taken, but it is alarming that this turns a society into a jungle, which obviously to a greater extent is also. And those people who don't want to see that, well, India is so amoral or immoral, they starts hating Adiga, who is showing a mirror to the Indian society. Is showing mirror. So we start hating such kind of people. That's why he is not being accepted in many of the articles also. Okay. And finally, also you have given a good list of articles. So a good record of the things which you have browsed through the list. So many of the other students, you also can see that the sources are taken from academia, ResearchGate, Semantic, Google Scholar, JSTOR, National Digital Library of India, NDLI, World Catalog of various things. So these are good cataloging of quality resources which are lying there. So now the other group will not say that we do not find quality resources where it is. Now the gates are open. So you can enter through these gates to see that, well, these are the places where you can try to see. And even if for your text nothing is there, then also you can make a note that you have seen all this thing, but there was nothing. Now that also will say that, well, it means that that literary text is not encouraging responses from critical field, the way the White Tiger has encouraged the critical response from so many people, variety of way of reading. The White Tiger is able to do that. The other texts are perhaps not able to do, or they do not have a capacity. The profundity of literary quality is lacking. And so not many people are interested in reading and then critically writing on that. So the list that you presented was very interesting. The top 10 articles, that also was very interesting. Variety of things were there. That queer study also was taken into that. It was very interesting. Queer study about homo spaces, homo society and homo space. That how one space the same gender wants to occupy, and how that happens there. So from there to he is criticized for on this ground that for whom is he writing? For whom is he writing? His readers are like, for example, drivers. If his readers are driver, then those drivers, Chetan Bhagat say, they are reading me. they all are learning English from Chetan Bhagat. They will not read Adiga. So is Adiga writing for awards? Is Adiga writing for the Europeans, the former masters who wants to see that, see, we were telling that you will be poor, you will just convert your society into zoo or circus. Your societies, like Winston Churchill used to say that, well, you can't liberate India, otherwise the Indians will torn apart each other. If Adiga is telling that story, then their ego is satisfied. The Western ego somewhere gets satisfied. So is he writing for that audience? So that those are the articles which are very interesting that you have reviewed in this. So overall, it was a very good way that everything's were presented here. Okay, so let me stop this recording here. So